We continue now at the top of Daf Chafam and Aleph and Mesechet Sanhedrin. This is Sanhedrin Daf 20a. The Gemara continues, Tokfo shel Boaz, the strength of Boaz, an Vosnuso shel Palti ben Laish. That's like the humility of Palti ben Laish. And the Gemara says Kedamar, and that's like we said above on the previous Amud. And Rashi explains, Tokfo shel Boaz, an Vosnuso shel Palti, the ilu Boaz chodalayla, because Boaz, he restrained himself for just one night. Upalti and Palti ben Laish, as we said before, Shanim Rabos, he restrained himself for many years. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, Ma'idach what does it mean when it's written in the Pasuk? There's a Pasuk in Mishlei, Rabos bonos asu choyel v'at olis al kulana. And the Gemara says, Rabos bonus asu choyel, who are those that were choyel, they were strong, Ze Yosef u Boaz, that refers to Yosef and Boaz, as we said in the previous Amud, again, they restrained themselves, Viat olis al kulana, but above them all, Ze Palti ben Laish, that refers to Palti ben Laish, again, as we explained. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachman, Amar Rabbi Yonasan, Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachman says that Rabbi Yonasan says, Ma'idach what does it mean when it's written in the Pasuk, also Pasuk in Mishlei, Sheker hachein vehevel hayofi, it says that chein and yofi, those are false, the beauty is false. Sheker hachein ze Yosef, Sheker hachein, that refers to Yosef. Vehevel hayofi ze Boaz, Hevel hayofi refers to Boaz. Yiras Hashem hitasalal, and what does it mean Yiras Hashem hitasalal? Who has that Yiras Hashem ze Palti ben Laish? Again, that refers to Palti ben Laish. Tavarach, another explanation, Sheker hachein ze Doro shel Moshe. Sheker hachein refers to the generation of Moshe. Vehevel hayofi ze Doro shel Yehoshua. Hevel hayofi refers to the generation of Yehoshua. Yiras Hashem hitasalal, and Yiras Hashem, the greatest of the generations, ze Doro shel Chizkiah, that refers to the generation of Chizkiah. Davar Acher, another explanation, Sheker hachein, when it says Sheker hachein ze Doro shel Moshe, that refers to the generation of Moshe v'Yehoshua and the generation of Yehoshua. Vehevel hayofi ze Doro shel Chizkiah, Hevel hayofi refers to the generation of Chizkiah. Yiras Hashem hitasalal ze Doro shel Rabbi Yehuda b'Rabbi Eloi, and Yiras Hashem hitasalal, that refers to the generation of Rabbi Yehuda b'Rabbi Eloi. Amru olav al Rabbi Yehuda b'Rabbi Eloi, they said about Rabbi Yehuda b'Rabbi Eloi, Shahayu shisha talmidim miskasin b'talas achas, that 6 students, they would cover themselves with one talis, v'yoskin b'Torah, and they would learn Torah. And Rashi explains, Doro shel Moshe v'Yoshua asku b'Torah harbe, the generations of Moshe and Yoshua, they learned a lot of Torah. V'Doro shel Chizkiyo yoser mehem, and the generation of Chizkiyo, that was even more than them. And Rashi continues, Miskasim b'talas achas means to say, they covered with one talis, aniyim hayu, they were poor, and nevertheless they learned Torah. And the Gemara continues with the Mishnah, Meis lo meis, if a relative of the king dies, Eino yotzi mi pesach paltrin shalo, he doesn't leave his palace to follow after the mace. Rabbi Yehuda says, Im rotza lotze sachar amita yotze, if he wants to follow the mita with the mace, he can do that. Shekein matzino b'David, that's what we find by David HaMelech, sheyotza achar mitaso shel Avner, that he followed after the mita of Avner. Shenemar, as it says in the Pasuk, v'HaMelech David holech achar amita, it says David HaMelech followed after the mita. Amru lo, they said to him, Lo haya hadavar l'lefayas hasa'am, in that case he only did it in order to appease the people, that they should not suspect him of ordering the murder of Avner. So when they come to comfort him, again this is with the meal that's eaten by the Avel, Kol ha'am mesuben ala aretz, everybody reclines on the ground, v'hu mesav ala dargish, and he reclines on the dargish, which the Gemara will explain what dargish means. And the Gemara says, Tanu Rabbanan, the rabbis taught, Mokam shenagu noshim lotzeis achar hamita yotzos, in a place where the custom is that the women follow the mita with the mace, that's what they do. Lifnei hamita, if the custom is they go in front of the mita yotzos, then that's how they go out. Rabbi Yehuda says, Liolam noshim lifnei hamita yotzos, the women, they always go in front of the mita that's carrying the mace. Shekein matzino b'David, that's what we find by David HaMelech, sheyotza achar mitaso shel Avner, that he went after the mita, implying that the women would have went in front of it. Shenemar, as it says in the Pasuk, V'Hamelech David holech achar hamita, it says David HaMelech, he went after the mita. Amru lo, they said to him, Lo haya hadavar ela lefayas hasa'am, the only reason that he did that was in order to appease the people, v'nispaisu, and in fact they were appeased. Shahaya David yotz mi bein ha'anashim v'nichnas lebein ha'anashim, that David HaMelech, he actually went from among the men to be among the women, v'yotz mi bein ha'anashim v'nichnas lebein ha'anashim, and he went from the women to be among the men. As the point is, as the Pasuk says, Shenemar, as it says in the Pasuk, Vayedu kala am v'chol Yisrael, that the entire people, all of Klal Yisrael, they all knew, ki lo haisa me'hamelech lo hamisas Avner, that it wasn't from the king, it wasn't by David HaMelech's orders to kill Avner. And the point over here is that the Chachamim are saying you can't tell from where David HaMelech was where the women would normally walk, because in that case, David HaMelech was walking among all of the people, the men and the women, in order to demonstrate again that it wasn't from him that Avner was killed. And the Gemara continues, Darash Rava Darshan Ma'idich. What does it mean when it's written in the pasuk? Vayavo kol ha'am lahavro, says David. It says all the people came to comfort David HaMelech. Ksiv lahachros. It's written as lahachros, to destroy him. The karin and lahavros, but we read it as lahavros, to comfort him. And the Gemara explains b'tchila lahachros. So originally they came to destroy him. They suspected that he was involved in the killing of Avner. Ulevasof lahavroso. But at the end, when they saw that he was truly mourning, they came to comfort him. And the Gemara continues. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav Yehuda says that Rav says, Mimnei man nenash Avner. Why was Avner punished? Mimnei shahaya lo limchos b'Shol v'lo micha, because he should have protested against Shol. This is talking about when Shol killed out the city of Nov, the city of the Kohanim. Rabbi Yitzchak says, Micha, no, in fact, Avner actually did protest. V'lo nene, he just wasn't answered. And the Gemara says, Ushnei mikra echad darshu. They both darshan the same pasuk, meaning Rav, who says that Avner should have protested, but he didn't, and Rabbi Yitzchak, who says that Avner in fact did protest. They actually both darshan the same pasuk, because the pasuk says, Vayekonin hamelech el Avner, that the king, he lamented the death of Avner. Vayomer, he said, Hakamos novel yamos Avner, should Avner die like a novel. Yadecha lo asuros v'raglecha lo lenuchoshtayim hugashu. Your hands, your feet, they weren't tied up. What does that pasuk exactly mean? Mando amar lo micha, the one who says that Avner didn't protest when he should have. Hachi kamar. This is what the pasuk is saying. Yadecha lo asuros v'raglecha lo lenuchoshtayim hugashu. Your hands, your feet, they weren't bound. My time lo machisa, meaning you had the ability. Why didn't you protest? Kinafol lefnei bnei avla nafalta. Therefore you fell like those who fall before the children of sin. And the one who says that he did protest, he just wasn't answered. So the way you read the pasuk is as follows. It's Muye Mitama. David HaMelech was saying it in wonder. He was saying it as a question. Hakamos novel yomus. Should he die like a novel? Yadecha lo asuros v'raglecha lo lenechushtayim. Your hands were not bound. Your feet were not bound. Michdi mechuye machis, meaning to say, let us see, you really did protest. So he's asking a question. My taima kinafol lifnei bnei avla nafalta. Why did you fall like those who fall before the children of iniquity? And the Gemara continues, Laman damar micha, according to the one who says that he did in fact protest, my time yanish, why was it that Avner was punished? Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says, Shashah Malchus Beis David Shtei Shanim Umechsa. By supporting the kingdom of Ishboshes, the son of Shaul, he delayed the kingdom of David HaMelech by 2.5 years, and that's why he was punished. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, so, and when the people come to comfort him, he sits on the dargish. And the Gemara says, my dargish, what is a dargish? Amar Ula says, Arsa Degada, it refers to Arsa Degada. And Rashi explains, Dargish Arsa Degada no hagen hayu laroch mita v'shulchem abayis. The custom was that they would have a bed and a table in the house. V'lo hayu mishtamshen ben klal. These items were not used at all. Ela lemazal habayis munachas misham nichash. Rather, they were placed there. It was just supposed to be a good omen for good fortune in the house. That's why they were there. Gada is mazel. Gada is another word for mazel, for fortune. V'doma gad gedius nuklo. And so Dargish Arsa Degada would mean that a dargish is a bed that is there for good fortune. And the Gemara continues, Amrulei Rabbanan Le'ula, the Rabbanan said to Ula, Mi'ika midi de'ad ho'idna lo osvine. Is there something that until now a person wouldn't sit on it? V'hashtam osvinan le, and now that the person's in mourning, so now he's going to sit on this dargish, which a person is not supposed to sit on. And the Gemara continues, Maskif lo Rava. Rava asks on this, my question, what's so difficult? Dilma midi dehavi achilu shasiya. Maybe it's similar to the fact that when he's eating and drinking, the mourner does not eat and drink from his own food, he's given food. De'ad ho'idna lo achilne v'lo ashkine. Until now, we didn't give him to drink and we didn't give him to eat and give him to drink. Hashta kam ochlinon le v'kam ashkinon le. Now we're giving him food to eat, we're giving him to drink. Obviously, there's something that we're doing different, and the same would be true in terms of sitting on the dargish. In this state, when he's in mourning, he sits on the dargish. And Rashi explains that Hashta lavos vine ad heina lo yoshav alosamit. Until now, he doesn't sit on this bed. Shari munachas ilanoi habayis is just there to make the house look nice. V'hashta do'avel hu ba'inan la'osvei Allah mehechatepikla. Now all of a sudden he's a mourner, he sits there. Why should that be? Hashta mochlinon le. And the response was, well, right now we give him to eat food mishal acherim, from other people, so clearly we treat the mourner differently. And so the Gemara continues, Ela ikasha akasha. Rather, if there's any difficulty explaining that dargish is this bed of fortune, the following is difficult. Dargish eino tzarech lechafoso ela zokfa. When it comes to the dargish, the halach is you don't have to turn it over, you let it stand up. V'isal gadaitach arsa degada. Now, if you say that the dargish is referring to this bed of good fortune, amay eino tzarech lechafoso, why don't you have to turn it over? V'atanya, but we learned in a brisa, hakofas mitaso lo mitaso bilvad hukofa. When the mourner turns over his bed, it's not only his bed that he has to turn over. Rather, all of the beds that are in the house he has to turn over. and so therefore he should have to turn over the dargish if it is in fact a bed. But the Gemara says to that, my kushi, what's so difficult about that? Maybe it's similar to a bed that's designated to store kalim, to katani, because we learned if the bed was designated to store kalim, you don't have to turn it over, and maybe that's the same thing as by a dargish. And so the Gemara continues, Eli Kasha, rather, if there's any difficulty explaining that the dargish is this arsa degada, this bed of fortune, hakasha, the following is difficult. Rav Shimon ben Gamliel says, dargish, that when it comes to a dargish, matir karvitin v'hu nofel me'elav, you have to undo the straps, and then it falls on its own. Now, if you think arsa degada, that a dargish is an arsa degada, is this kind of a bed, karvitin mi'isle, would it have those kind of straps? It wouldn't have those straps, and therefore that indicates that that's not what a dargish is. And Rashi explains, matir karvitin b'me'evlo, while he's in mourning, he undoes those straps, karvitin lulos. The karvitin are like the lulos, that's like these loops that these straps go through. Karvitin mi'isle, does it even have karvitin? Halo kishar mitos osino samito, you make that bed like any other bed. So therefore a dargish cannot be a bed. And so the Gemara continues, Ela kiyasa Ravin, rather when Ravin came, Amar, he said, Amar liyahume rabbanan v'Rav Tachlifa shemei. One of the rabbanan said to me, and his name was Rav Tachlifa, to have a shriach b'shuka de gildoi, he was frequently in the marketplace of the gildoi, of the tanners who work with leather. V'Amar lei said to him, my dargish, what is dargish? Arsa detzila, it refers to a leather bed. And Rashi explains, Gildoi Ratzanin, again, the Gildoi are those who work with the leather. Arsa Detzila, Mita Shal Or, it is a bed that's made of leather. Vitolin Ritzuos Besvasa, or they have these straps that they hang at the edge of the leather, Saviv all around it, Uchesharotzin Lintoso, and when they want to set it up, Onvin Haritzuos Baruchas Hamita, they fasten the Ritzuos to the legs of the bed, Ucheshamatirnos, and if they undo those straps, Hunofel, then it falls. The Hein Karvitin, those are the Karvitin that Rav Shimon ben Gamliel is referring to when he says by a dargish, you undo the karvitin and it falls on its own. The chasu olav lechafos, Rav Shimon ben Gamliel was saying that you don't have to turn it over, shelo yiskalkel or, because Rav Shimon ben Gamliel didn't want that the leather should be ruined, belichlach hakarka, because the ground was moist, shelo hayu roshei karav givoin miserugal amala, because the legs of the bed, they didn't go up enough, they didn't come up over the leather enough that if you would turn it over, it would protect the leather. The Tanakama zogfa al dofen hakrayim varuchosav lamala. The Tanakama said you turn it over so that the legs are pointing up. V'amar le Rav Shimon, and Rav Shimon said, matir karvitin v'hunofel, just undo the straps and then it falls. That is sufficient. That was Rav Shimon ben Gamliel trying to protect the leather of that bed. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yirmiyah says, Rabbi Yochanan says, dargish, when it comes to dargish, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Chaf Amud Beis.